The 55-year-old mother's phone shattered the quiet Saturday evening with news that would fracture her family permanently. Her husband was away on business, leaving her alone to navigate what came next. The police station called first. Her 21-year-old son had been arrested for assault at a popular local pub. Shock propelled her into the car immediately, her mind racing through possibilities. Her son, arrested? For assault? The boy she'd raised, now a man in handcuffs. She was already halfway to the station when her phone rang again. This time, her 19-year-old daughter's voice crackling through the speaker. "I'm in the hospital," her daughter said, her words slightly slurred. "My brother punched me. I was unconscious for a few minutes. They're checking me for a concussion." 2 children, 2 emergencies, 1 violent incident connecting them. The mother gripped the steering wheel tighter, processing the information. Her son had punched his sister hard enough to knock her unconscious, hard enough to leave her lying on the pub floor while strangers called ambulances and police, hard enough that medical professionals were concerned about brain injury. Her first question, the one that would define everything that followed, came instinctively. "What did you do to cause him to punch you?" The words hung in the air like poison. Not, "Are you okay?" or "How badly are you hurt?" But an immediate assumption that her hospitalized, concussed daughter must have provoked the violence inflicted upon her. The question itself was an accusation wrapped in maternal concern. "You must have done something to deserve this." Her daughter's response was hysterical screaming, words tumbling out about being blamed for being the victim of a violent man, about always being second to her brother, about a lifetime of favoritism crystallized in this single, devastating question. Eventually, through tears and rage, the truth emerged. She'd kissed her brother's childhood best friend at the pub. The mother's mind immediately cataloged years of similar conflicts. Her daughter flirting with her son's friends, wearing clothes her son deemed too revealing around his social circle. The conversations she'd had with her daughter about respecting her brother's space and friends, about not trying it on with his friends, as if her daughter's sexuality existed primarily as a threat to her son's comfort. 2 years ago, her daughter had dated the younger brother of her son's close friend. Her son had been so angry he hadn't spoken to his sister for weeks. His friends had mocked him about it. The mother hadn't taken sides then, she told herself, though she'd felt grateful when that relationship ended after a couple of months. Relief that her son's social standing had been restored, that the uncomfortable tension had dissipated. All of this history informed her decision at that critical moment. Her daughter had violated the unspoken family rule. Her brother's feelings about his friends took precedence over her autonomy, her romantic choices, her right to exist as a young woman without constantly moderating herself for male comfort. Of course, the mother acknowledged to herself this didn't give her son an excuse to hurt his sister. And that but carried tremendous weight. Her daughter was being looked after in the hospital where she couldn't really do anything, whereas her son was stuck in the police station and needed her to bail him out. She made her choice. She drove past the hospital exit toward the police station, collected her drunk, upset son, and took him home to sleep off his violent evening. Only then, with her son safely comfortable, did she make her way to the hospital where her daughter waited with a potential concussion and the fresh knowledge that her mother had prioritized her attacker's comfort over her safety. Her daughter was devastated. The silence between them grew thick and impenetrable. Even her husband, calling from his business trip, took their daughter's side. Though the mother dismissed this as predictable favoritism, noting that her daughter had always been daddy's favorite, the daughter dropped the assault charges, ensuring her brother's record remained clean. She resumed talking to her brother, somehow finding it within herself to forgive the person who'd knocked her unconscious. But she couldn't forgive her mother. "I don't have the energy to explain to you," her daughter finally said, her voice empty of emotion. "Go ask Reddit." So the mother came to the internet, genuinely confused about why her daughter remained angry. Her son wouldn't have a criminal record. Her daughter was talking to her brother again. Why couldn't she move past her mother's choice to bail out her attacker before checking on her injuries? The mother couldn't see what was obvious to everyone else. She'd asked her hospitalized daughter what she'd done to deserve being punched unconscious. She'd spent years teaching her daughter that her brother's comfort mattered more than her autonomy. She'd driven past the hospital to collect her violent, drunk son. She'd labeled her husband's support of their injured daughter as mere favoritism rather than appropriate parental concern. In that one night, she'd shown her daughter exactly where she stood in the family hierarchy beneath her brother's needs, beneath his anger, beneath his right to respond to romantic rejection with violence. Was this mother wrong to prioritize bailing out her arrested son over immediately checking on her hospitalized daughter? Or was she being practical about where she was most needed? Can a mother's instinctive victim blaming ever be justified? Or did this question reveal a deeper pattern of favoritism that her daughter finally couldn't forgive?